Okay, so we're going to use some of this Permatex sleeve retainer on the inside here where this bearing is going to go, because the bearing sits in here kind of loosely. It's not pressed in, so we feel like it probably should be sealed. And it looks like at one time it may have been, but when we pulled it apart it was not. Okay, we got the timing belt kit and water pump. Good. So it looks like this bolt is replaced too, huh?
Yep.
Garrett's taking the water pump bolts out now. As you can see, maybe underneath, it's leaking fluid, coolant. Because even though we drain the radiator, there's still coolant in the engine. That one there is a shorter one. Leaking out of that hole right there. Excuse me. You got, looks like you got one up here. Right there that you gotta hit. Which one? Right there.
Okay, I see it.
Alright, so Garrett got the water pump off. Here's the water jacket there. We just gotta get some of this gasket material off. Right there is where it was leaking from, so we're gonna take a close look at that if we can. So I'm going to try to take a picture right now. I just put a very thin coat. You're right, which side did I put the Indian head on? Gasket material. Gasket shellac compound. Okay, now we clean up that gasket, clean up the front of the motor, and start putting everything back together. Just a little bit right there. New water pump is bolted on, torqued down. Got the idler on. Now putting on this new tensioner.
Is it 14?
17.
That big one's 17.
Yeah. After we torque these two bolts down, put the tensioner in, put the belt on, and pull the pin on the tensioner. Everything's cleaned up as best it can. Hopefully there'll be no more leaking. Oh, by the way, we decided not to change the pump. We emptied the fluid because we're gonna clean this thing out, but I don't know, I'm being lazy about it. I just didn't want to do it. More work. It's in there pretty secure. Hopefully we won't have to deal with it. Okay, we got the timing belt on. I think we got all the lines actually lined up too this time. There's passenger side. There's driver side cam. And then there's the crank lined up. You started up here, put the belt on here, put the belt on over here, use these clips on both sides, went down, this was off, the tensioner was off, and then we slid it over the crank and made sure that it was all lined up with that line, and then we put this back on, and at this point we're ready to pull the pin on this to give it tension, and we should be finished with the timing. The only thing we're not sure about, although we're pretty sure, is this one line looks a little bit different. But we really don't know if it would be able to line up any better than that. Tough to say. Could be a tooth. That one lines up perfectly. Okay, we pulled the tensioner pin. Should have tension. Hopefully that's still lined up. That one's lined up. And that one's lined up. Okay, so we just ran the motor briefly, and sounds good. No missing or anything like that, so everything's good to go. We're going to start putting the cover back on, and then hopefully get the rest of the supercharger stuff put back on, except the nose cone stuff. Although we might be able to put this back nose cone on tonight. Timing belt cover is back on. We're getting ready to put the serpentine belt parts back on, the tensioner, the pulleys, and yeah, moving right along. I'm going to dress up these vacuum hoses after we're finished, shorten them up, make everything look pretty. So yeah, well, we're all done for this evening. It's kind of late. We got the fan assembly on, all the pulleys. I got the supercharger all cleaned out on the inside, and we got all the gasket material off of that. And we got all the gasket material off of this, and we also cleaned this side up again. That looks pretty good. So I am going in the house and going to bed. Garrett's putting on the serpentine belt. Supercharger is all on, except the pulley and the belt. So after this, the only thing we should have to do is put that belt on, put the fan shroud back together, hook up coolant line, vacuum hoses that we're gonna dress up a little bit, and then fill it with coolant and fill the supercharger with oil. And that's it. The motor is finished being put back together. The only thing we got to do now is finish putting the fluids in it and then start it up. Maybe after dinner tonight. We're going to look and see how long it takes for this stuff to dry. But anyway, that's it. Supercharger's back on. It's all prettied up. Hopefully it still works and there's no leaks. Here we go. Hopefully it starts up and doesn't make any noise. Well, except for the motor. The motor making noise would be a good thing. Just the right kind of noise. Now that the RPM's dropped, it quieted down a little bit, and hopefully as it warms up it'll get quieter, but not the drastic change that I was hoping for, but I guess it's just the nature of the beast. So right now we are trying to get the coolant system burped, get all the air out of the system. That's going to take a little bit of time. We'll add some more coolant as it's needed, and yeah, but hopefully this project is finished. No more leaks, hopefully, from the coolant system. Yeah.